Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Enchanted by Nunu, a lifestyle creator and a proud mom to the sweetest little boy ever. On this channel, it's all about connecting on a deeper level. I'm going to be sharing anonymous stories as well as my own personal experiences. And that's not it. I'm going to be taking you along for my UGC journey too, and giving you a glimpse into my everyday life as a mom. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. So in this video, I want to share my childbirth experience. And the reason why I want to share is because I remember how scared I was. And I know that there's other sisters out there too who are pregnant right now and are scared, and sisters who aren't even pregnant and are scared. So I want to share my experience in hopes that it'll give hope to some sisters, because not every birth experience is a terrible one. So I found out that I was pregnant at 3 months. And I remember being so overwhelmed, like I was terrified. I was crying nonstop. I was complaining to everybody, like, I didn't expect this, like, how am I gonna do this? Like, how am I supposed to give birth? Like, what if I'm the only girl in the world that can't really do it? Like, what if it kills me? I was so scared, okay? And because I was so scared, I was talking about it to pretty much anyone who would listen. And then I had a conversation with my aunt. She said something that made me think about the way I was going about things. She told me that Allah is to me what I think of Him. And she told me that I need to believe that Allah is going to give me a good birth. And after having that conversation with her, I felt like there was like such a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, because now I just didn't feel as scared. Like, it gave me so much hope. So after that, I decided I was going to start praying tahajjud. And every time I prayed, I was like repeating the same dua over and over. I was like, please Allah, give me a good birth. Like, please give me a good birth, please. And it was just like on repeat. And it started to give me so much comfort. I was like, you know what? I don't need to be as scared as I was. I don't need to be that scared, because then I'm like torturing myself. So that's what I was doing essentially. I was making dua and manifesting that my dua will come true. So some days I was doing really good. Some days I wouldn't even think about the due date. I would just be good and trust that Allah is gonna come through for me. And then other days I would wake up so panicked, like, I have to go through that. There's no way out. Like, can I get a C-section? Like, I was scared sometimes. And those times where I was scared, I had to kind of fake it till I made it. And another thing that really helped me too was I stopped thinking that other people's experiences was gonna be mine. Like, some sisters, you know, really struggled, and I actually witnessed one birth, and that traumatized me. And I kind of just really had to realize that everybody has their own unique birth experience, and that I can't just take someone else's experience and be like, that's gonna be me, because that just creates so much fear. So I tried to avoid asking too much, but I'm so curious, so I was still asking, like, hey, what was your childbirth like, you know? And sometimes I would hear like, girl, you know, I struggled, like, it was painful, it was tough, and it would kind of like make me scared. And then I would have to sit myself down and be like, hey girl, you're gonna be okay. And now for the really good part, my delivery day. So on December 24th, I think around like 9 p.m., 8 p.m. or 10, around those times, I was like nesting. And for those that don't know what that means, nesting is when you kind of just get your house ready for your child. So I was like cleaning, and I was like just doing so many random things, okay, around the house. I remember I started to feel some pain, but I didn't feel like I needed to go to the hospital. So that night I went to sleep after I was done cleaning and stuff like that. And then I woke up the next day, and I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I think today's the day, it's gonna happen. And the contractions started to get closer to each other. So I downloaded the contraction app, and I was trying to keep track of my contractions. And while I was doing that, I straightened my hair and did my makeup, because at the time that was a really big priority for me. I wanted to look so good for like my due date. And I was able to do that and have breakfast all while experiencing contractions. So that really amazed me too, because I expected the contractions to be so excruciating that I really wouldn't be able to do any of those things. And it made me so happy, because I felt like, okay, I feel like my dua is coming true, because contractions are like, I'm killing it. And around, I think it was 4 or 5 p.m., I called one of my best friends and I asked her to pick me up. And when she came, she, I guess, expected me to be really frantic, but I was really calm, and I was like making jokes with her. I was just happy, like I seemed fine. And when we went to go to the hospital, I was like, hey, should we stop and get some food? And we ate in the car, and oh my gosh, I have to mention this, okay? There was one contraction that was like, okay, damn, that hurt. That was the one in the car. Like, that one hurt, but it was still manageable. Anyways, we got to the hospital, and they said that I came to the hospital at the perfect time. And the room was so small. I was like, please, I don't want to give birth in this room. And she was like, no, this is not the room you're giving birth in. And she took us to another room, which was so much bigger, and it was so cute. It had like a really big window, and it was snowing, and like you could see the snow falling. Like, it was vibes, okay? And I was here for it. And then a while after, the lady that does the epidural came, and she told me to stay really still, and I was kind of nervous about the epidural because I don't like needles, and it went really smooth, and I don't feel like the epidural part hurt. I felt like it was really uncomfortable. So when the epidural hit, I could not feel anything from the waist down. Like, literally, I could not feel anything. And that made me feel so comforted. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Like, I knew that I wanted to get the epidural from like time. I really loved the epidural because it just gave me so much comfort. Like, I wasn't in pain. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, things are looking good for me. And I remember one of the nurses came in and something dropped. I don't remember what it was. Was it heartbeat? It was something dropped and had her concerned. And then she called the other doctors, and they all came in. There was 2 doctors, and there was 2 nurses, I think. Yeah, 2 nurses, and they all just came in. I remember feeling like, is this it? Like, is this happening? Like, everyone's just coming in. And at that point, there's 2 doctors, 2 nurses, my best friend slash cousin Hodo, and my other best friend Rawia. And you guys, when I tell you, I'm not even kidding, we were making jokes in my delivery room because I was like not able to feel anything from the waist down. So when they're telling me push, I'm like, am I really pushing? Like, am I doing anything? It felt like I was doing absolutely nothing. So I was like making some jokes, and they were making jokes, and it was just a really good vibe. So I wasn't feeling any pain when I was pushing, and towards the end, like, there's this part where you're pushing, and then they tell you stop pushing, like stop, and then you have to just pause all of a sudden, and then they get their hands on like the baby's head, and then they tell you push, like do a really big push. And that part was a lot of pressure, and I gave a really good push, and he came out. And I remember how happy I was. Like, I was crying hysterically, but like happy tears. Like, I remember feeling so blessed. Like, in that moment, nothing was wrong. Life was good. And I feel like it really re-instilled my faith in dua, because some days I wasn't scared and I had faith in my dua, but also some days I was just really faking it till I made it. So my delivery being so amazing made me have so much more faith in my duas, and that Allah listens and He answers, and He takes care of us ultimately. And yeah, that's how my delivery was. I actually loved that experience because it was just such a beautiful day. Like, it was amazing. Everything went really well. You know, I had people that loved me there, support. I had really nice nurses. I had really nice doctors. That epidural is bae. Like, just things went really well. So that's the end of my delivery story. And I really, really hope that my story could be a comfort to sisters that need it right now and sisters that will need it in the future. If you want to hear more of my personal experiences, make sure you drop some questions down below, and maybe I'll answer some of them in the next video. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end of the video. If you liked that video, make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be so much more like it. And yeah, see you in the next video.